Call for a Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you for coming out to the meeting today. We'll get started with the agenda, and I'll call the meeting to order. Is there any citizens' input on agenda items? Okay, seeing none. Mayor Rose, if you want to take over from here.
A motion is needed to approve and dispense with the reading of the Commissioners' public meeting minutes of Tuesday, January 5th, 2016, February 2nd, 2016, March 1st, 2016, and March 22nd, 2016.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Made and seconded on the question. All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
A motion is needed to pay all county and liquid fuels payrolls as submitted by the Human Resource Office for payroll number 5 in the amount of $687,861.69 and payroll number 6 in the amount of $638,560.84.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Made and seconded on the question. All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
A motion is needed to pay all county and liquid fuel bills as submitted by the county controller in the amount of $4,688,541.75 from February 27, 2016 to April 1st, 2016.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Announcements. A work session will be held Tuesday, April 19th, 2016, beginning at 10 a.m. in the Commissioners' Conference Room. The next regular public meeting will be held on Tuesday, May 3rd, 2016, at 1 p.m. in the Public Meeting Room in the Administration Center, 399 Stadium Drive, Sunbury. Commissioner Best will be holding an in-office workshop day on April 18th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Correspondence. A letter from the Seipel Family Foundation terminating the storage bays lease agreement at 220 North 6th Street, Sunbury with the Clancy program. A motion is needed for the Commissioners to sign the state tax equalization voucher form from transfers of real estate for the month of February 2016 as submitted by the Assessment Office.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the question. All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
A motion is needed to approve the employee status sheet list of new hires, individuals no longer employed, promotions, demotions, and transfers.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion.
Second.
On the question. All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
A motion is needed for the Commissioners to sign a letter of engagement with Clay-Six & Associates, P.C. for auditing services in Northumberland County for the period beginning December 31st, 2015.
I think it's actually the period ending, I think.
Ending.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
period end, sorry.
Is there a motion? Or-
I'll make the motion.
Second.
On the question? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
A motion is needed authorizing the Commissioners to sign and approve the collective bargaining agreement between Northumberland County and American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFSCME, AFL-CIO Local 2016, Council 86, for the period of January 1st, 2016 to December 31st, 2018, for residual non-court-related employees, ratification.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the question? All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
A motion is needed authorizing the Commissioners to sign and approve the collective bargaining agreement between the Northumberland County and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFL-CIO Local 2016, Council 86, for the period of January 1st, 2016 to December 31st, 2018, for court-related non-professionals, ratification.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
On the question? All in favor, state aye. Motion passes.
A motion is needed to authorize the lease of a CopyStar copier for District Justice Applebaum's office from CSP office equipment at a cost of $40.13 per month for 60 months.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, on the question? All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes.
A motion is needed for the chairman to sign the Juvenile Probation Services Grant proposed budget for JJSES for the period of July 1st, 2015 to June 30th, 2016, in the amount of $151,537 as submitted by the Chief of Probation.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
On the question? All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
A motion is needed to terminate the contract for Dag Stark to serve as private investigator for the Northumberland County Prison, approved at the Commissioners' meeting of June 23, 2009, as Resolution Number 130-09.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second. You got it.
Motion made, yeah. On the question, just to explain to everybody, this is no reflection on Dag Stark. He actually brought to our attention, since he is employee now of the DA's office, that there would be a conflict for him, so we need to find someone else to do other investigations for us, and actually he's making some recommendations to us. So I didn't want anybody to think that this was being terminated because we don't like and admire Dag Stark. That's certainly not the case. So I guess we had a motion, a second on the, all in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
A motion is needed to approve the settlement agreement between ASME District Council 86 and Northumberland County for case para C-15-122-E for the charge of unfair practices.
Which one is it? I'll make the motion.
Okay, second.
You got a second. On the question?
I'm just asking which,
Somewhere between Ash-
weatherization. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
A motion is needed to approve an adoption policy for Northumberland County Children and Youth Services. Ratify.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay. On the question? All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
A motion is needed authorizing the chairman to sign the proposal from Core Power and Environment in the amount of $3,860.95 for battery replacement for emergency power at the 911 center as submitted by Public Safety.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. On the question? All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
A motion is needed to change the broker of record from TGF Insurance to the Purdy Insurance Agency for the following policies for the property and casualty insurance renewal beginning July 1st, 2016. A, general liability, professional liability. B, commercial property. C, commercial auto. D, commercial umbrella. And E, cyber first liability.
Is there a motion?
So
I'll make-
moved.
Second.
Okay, made and seconded. On the question? All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
A motion is needed to approve a price quote of $76,980 for site work to be performed at the Pardo Tower site for Northumberland County 911 project.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the question? All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
A motion is needed to approve the following reports. Coal Royalty Report, 4 operators report collections of $9,312.95 for the month of January. Tax claims report a total of $799,253.21 was collected in taxes for the period of February 29, 2016 through April 3, 2016. The 2015 annual report from Northumberland County Conservation District. Monthly statistical status reports for January 2016 as submitted by the Weatherization Department. A, the Department of Energy DOE reports, and 2, the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program LIHEAP crisis reports.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
On the question? All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
A motion is needed authorizing travel requests and attendance at the following workshop seminars as in accordance with the county's personnel manual travel reimbursement policy.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, made and seconded. On the question? All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
A motion is needed to approve the following honorary letters and proclamations. Wedding anniversary, Mr. and Mrs. Albert Nair Paxinus, 50th wedding anniversary. Proclamations, Dr. Pat J. Bruno, Citizen of the Year of 2016. Pennsylvania 811 Safe Digging for the month of April. And Recognition Day for the Foster Grandparents Program on National Service Day.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Solicitor's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Motion to adopt Resolution R30-16, sub-grantee agreement with the Herndon Borough, Jackson Township Joint Municipal Authority for the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development granting funds from the county's fiscal year 2013 Community Development Block Grant for the replacement of pipe along State Route 147.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, on the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Motion to adopt Resolution R31-16, professional services extension agreement between the Northumberland County Commissioners on behalf of the Tax Claims Bureau and Vincent V. Revito Jr. Esquire to represent the Tax Claims Bureau in legal matters.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. So,
Second.
on the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Motion to adopt Resolution R32-16, lease renewal between the Northumberland County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the engineer and New Enterprise Stone and Lime Company, extending the term of the mineral agreement through April 30th, 2017.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Motion to adopt Resolution R33-16, professional services agreement between the County of Northumberland and Otis Elevator Company for the maintenance of two elevators located at 320 through 330 North 2nd Street, Sunbury.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Motion to adopt Resolution R34-16, bill of sale between the Borough of Mount Carmel on behalf of the County of Northumberland for Bridge Number 109, Bridge 129, Bridge Number 170, and Bridge Number 89 crossing Shamokin Creek.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made seconded on the question. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Motion to adopt Resolution R35-16, independent contractor agreement between the Northumberland County Commissioners on behalf of the Veterans Affairs Department and Jim Hauk for the purpose of placing flags and grave markers at Northumberland County Memorial Park, specifically the Garden of Honor for veterans who have served in the armed forces.
Make a motion.
Second.
All right, on the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Motion to adopt Resolution R36-16, resolution between the County of Northumberland and NHS Youth Services Incorporated for a declaration of taking for Northumberland County Tax Parcel 00A-000-077-013B located in the Township of Cole.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second, okay. On the question, I guess this is as good a time as any to talk about the big one on the agenda. As some of you may be aware, we had a press conference prior to this meeting where we also had the president judge and some of the other members of the prison board and the sheriff's office to talk about the fact that we're going to be considering both this motion and another one, which is to enter into an agreement of sale with respect to the Northwestern Academy properties that are in Cole Township for use as a county prison. We're going to give you, I guess, the Cliff's Notes version from what we did in the press conference. But this is basically an opportunity that presented itself to the county. And, in combination with the significant opportunity that there is at that site, both for millions of dollars of savings to the county, but also the ability to really change how we administer corrections in this county to a more progressive change it to a more progressive fashion of corrections where we're trying to utilize work release, pre-release day reporting centers, treatment, and that sort of thing. This provides us all of those opportunities and more, and opportunities to partner with our neighboring counties to be able to offer those services to them. Basically, as we have said all along, and I know there's been a lot of speculation about this over the last couple of weeks, we said all along this board has always remained open to looking at other ideas and other directions, whether it be for the prison site or other things. This presented itself. We also, right around that same time, started encountering some issues with the existing site that most likely would have resulted in significant cost overruns into the millions of dollars. And the combination of those two things, that just made it make that much more sense to take a look at this. Each of the other two commissioners is going to have an opportunity here to talk a little bit about this site and the process. But I'd like to say it was very much a team effort, not even just with the three commissioners, but also with the courts, with our sheriff's department, and getting input from them, so that we knew that before a step like this would even be considered, that the needs of all of those departments were going to be met, and that they were able to buy into this idea of changing the corrections in the county. The present judge wasn't able to be with us this afternoon because he had some prior hearings scheduled, but he did state at the press conference that he very much recommended that the board approve this at this meeting because he sees the possibilities for the future of this county to really be a leader amongst the counties in this area in providing these services. If we follow the same sort of pattern we did before, I think Mr. Chickatano can talk a little bit more about some of the specific numbers that were crunched in this and what the savings are going to be.
They said to give the short version.
That wasn't the short.
I'm not sure any three of us can give a short version. Let me just go back so everyone understands this process didn't begin until we were looking at holding cells up in the Shamokin area. The judge, we had a tour up in the Shamokin area about putting holding cells in. And after that tour, I was contacted by an executive from Northwestern who I actually coached and was a student of mine who moved up the ranks and contacted me about looking at Northwestern for holding cells. When I did look at it, I saw holding cells might not be the answer there because it was so large, but we got both Commissioner Best and Commissioner Schuck involved, and we started thinking about maybe a prison there. And the process took a long time because I think we took the right steps in doing it. We looked at it ourselves, and then we got Todd Rothmel, our project manager, looking at it. Commissioner Best got a warden who was in charge of, who has done juvenile facilities into adult facilities before we had them look at it. We had Commissioner Schuck had the judge and the warden up there with the three of us that we walked through it. So it was a process. We wanted to make sure everybody was on board and that we saw a vision for this place. But to get to the figures, and that's my job, what's up there, if this is passed, is 168 acres, okay? It has 13 buildings on it. In those 13 buildings, 2 of the main buildings will be used as high security inmate cells. There's one that's also a dormitory cell. The dormitory cell, which is a separate building, would hold 48 inmates. The 2 main buildings would each hold 128 inmates each, which would give us a total of 304 inmates that could be held at the facility. Involved in that, we purchased the property, if we go ahead and vote on this, for $6.5 million. 6.1 is actually equated to the property itself, the buildings, the property, and 0.4 million of that is all the belongings, all the property inside the buildings, except for computer systems and things that they would take out. So we're including 2 cafeterias, one a full cafeteria with walk-in freezers, walk-in refrigerators, all the stoves, all the washers and dryers, which I hear there's 30, 40 washers and dryers, all the chairs, everything in the building except for computer type things. As far as the remodeling, we intend to, if this goes through, remodel the 2 main buildings, which would have to be brought up to a code so that they could be for adult inmates, which need some reinforcing. Some walls need to be taken out. But we have a projected cost, and we had someone come in to give us a generous amount, so hopefully it's less. But we have a projected cost of around $15 million to remodel the buildings we will need immediately. Compared to what at the point we were at down the other site, the Moran site, The last few weeks when we suspended the project, we were about at 41 million. And that doesn't include any other things that we might run into that might be change orders that we have already run into. I mean, I have a list that the Alexander's company has given me, that about 10 things of change orders that we have already went into. But there's probably a difference of about 20 million savings. But that savings isn't realistic because we still are looking into holding cells in the Sunbury area near the courthouse, which is approximately going to be around the 1 million. The cost that we already have in the Moran site, which is somewhere between 3.5 and 4 million. So we're estimating that right now, and if we can hold the cost down, we're going to have a savings of somewhere around $15 million. Now, the big issue is transportation from, of course, Cole Township to here. The sheriff has given me a cost, and I told him again to be generous on that. The cost for transportation will be somewhere around $250,000 a year. But be reminded, the Moran site would also have a cost because it's not next to the courthouse. So, you know, we will have a transportation cost that will be extra, but the gain we get from the facilities, the number of buildings, the things that we can do that these two know more about than I do. I think it's not a prison that if this goes through, we're going to build. It's going to be a complex. It's going to be maybe something that other counties can come and maybe copy. But those are the number-wise. I'm sure there might be questions about numbers, but those are the things that we have come up with. But it will be a facility, I think, that if it goes through, that we can build on, and I think Commissioner Best is going to expound on that.
What this opportunity presents itself is moving into the future, we can classify and reclassify, train and rehabilitate people from heroin addictions to life skills and parenting, so that when these people leave this campus, and it's a campus, they won't return. We want to create something where Northumberland County will be on the forefront of how we approach our criminal justice system, and this campus allows us all the opportunities to do that. It's a beautiful facility, and it's enormous. And right now, in Northumberland County, we have a prison that's available, and we need a prison to become available. This project, if we keep it on track, will be ready to hold our inmates anywhere from 6 to 8 months, whereas the Celotex site was going to take more than a year. And that's a savings to be realized at $250,000 a month. Just our bill to SCI Cole Township alone every month is $230,000. So the sooner we can get our prison to hold our inmates, the better. I'm very excited to be part of this project. It's an honor to have been working with the two commissioners on this project, and I'll have a map available for the public to come up and walk and see the location. But we're truly excited to be able to get it for the price we did and the timing that we did. So that's basically what I have to say.
Tommy?
Commissioner Chickatana, what's going to happen then with the Moran project down there? I mean, what's going to happen with the ground and stuff? Do we take a loss on that?
Well, we already have met with the city this morning about that, and we have hired, last week, we have hired a project manager as far as development and to those projects like the Moran site, so that we can start looking, if this goes through, to bring industry in. It will not be abandoned, I guarantee that. It will be a productive move to try to bring something in that not only would help our county, but help the city of Sunbury. We're also working, we started working on the old prison site to try to figure out what we want to do with that, to be a productive part of Sunbury also in our county, either, you know, whatever we got to do, but that's something that needs to be addressed soon and either taken down or whatever we have to do to it to start promoting that piece of property also.
Thank you.
First off, congratulations to the three of you and the
Thank you.
cooperation in bringing this big thing. I'm speaking now as the treasurer of the Brady Fire Company, which, as you guys know, is the closest fire company. Now, when the flooding happened a few years back, there was a bridge washed out from Route 61 to go to that facility. There was talk when they were first putting the industrial park there and making an access road that Brady Fire Company would be able to access quicker to get emergency response. And so I would just ask that be something considered short of rebuilding that bridge. We've already looked at land where an access road could be put, we could gate it so that the general public wouldn't have access, but the fire service would. So that we wouldn't have to go all the way through Brady, out 901, and back up when literally we're 2 minutes or less from the whole facility. So I just ask you guys consider that.
I don't think there's much of a distance from when I go past the Brady Fire Company to there. I mean, it's a matter of a
It is,
road.
but there's no access.
Right, but that's a possibility. I mean, that's something we'll look at.
From the addition, we're adding parking on our land.
Right.
From there, we could put an access road very easily.
Right.
Our fire chief has looked at that. You know.
And we're not talking much.
We'd be happy to meet with you guys,
Yeah.
show you what we're talking
Right.
about.
Well, and it could be a great benefit to us for
Right,
the
yeah.
facility, make sure you have
Safety.
apparatus in there quickly if something
Yeah,
happens.
we would literally be a minute away from
Right.
being on that access road. So it's just something that
Yep.
we would be happy to sit down with you and also.
Appreciate you mentioning it.
I'll say something to your solicitor.
Yeah.
I mean, being that the Brady Fire Company is so close, I think that's something that we will work closely with those people, you know. I see that.
Like I said, I'm offering that too, that we would be happy to show you what we're talking about.
You know, before we continue, I just want to thank Northwestern Academy also. They were, if this does go through, they have worked with us for the past 2 months endlessly, making the facility aware that we could get up there and look at it whenever we had to get Todd Rotham up there to check, our project manager, to check anything out. They were very helpful, very cordial in the negotiations for the property. We have to thank them if this goes through. Their first comment to me was they want to try to help our county, and I think, we took that to heart, and they actually really did try to help out all through the process.
My sentiment is also that all three years work together for the benefit of the taxpayers. It's really great to see that, and that we are saving a lot of money. Thank you.
It's really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
And,
Thanks a lot.
I want to, Commissioner Shikatano did a lot of the bargaining. So when you look at the dollar, he got it down. He spoke to them every single day for about 2 months.
He's our negotiator.
He's our
That was it.
negotiator.
He's bulldog.
You can never get him on the phone.
Yeah, he'd use me as the bad person, like, oh, I'd go for that deal, but I don't think she would. Rick Schock dealt with all of our professionals and trying to make sure that we had the engineers and we had everybody up there and the timing and things like that. And I looked at it from the perspective of a criminal defense lawyer, what we need, how we make it secure, and the consultant that I was in touch with, I had worked in the past, the SCI Camp Hill prison riots, if you all remember in the 80s, was because they took a juvenile facility, made it into an adult facility, and didn't do their homework. So we hired that guy, and together with our wonderful project manager from Alexander Company, we made sure that we looked at every single detail. And then we sort of thought, what would the judge want? What would court administration need? How's the sheriff going to look at this? And getting all of these people involved to make this possible. So it was really a coordinated effort.
Let me add one. We're going to pat people on the back. Let me say this. With this contract, Kim and Rick and Frank as our solicitor worked very hard on developing a contract that has contingencies in it. And I think whenever something is bought, there should be contingencies as far as you could get out of this if you have to. Not saying we are, but they were the experts in that. I saw the contract and I didn't even want to read it because I have no idea what it says. But they do. And they looked through it page by page and made sure we had things covered that we wanted covered. So if anything comes up down the road before all this closing is done, that we have negotiations to do. We're just not purchasing this
Now,
property.
what's going to happen with the juvenile detention up there now that's there?
My understanding is that they're going to be operating there up until pretty close to the closing date, which is scheduled for June 30th. And then, I mean, after that, I mean, I'm not sure how they're handling that. That would be Northwestern's, call. They know how they'd be handling that. But, so, yeah, Bob.
A little touchy subject. Do you foresee any problems with the authority in getting the money? And if so, would you consider disbanding it to eliminate the person who's going to try to hold back the money?
I have fantasized about disbanding it because of that, but actually the reality is there are some things there are some things that can be done to make sure that we can secure those funds, and we've had some informal discussions about it, but certainly we will make sure that the funds derived from the insurance, ultimately that was a property that was paid for with taxpayer funds, and we will make sure that we protect that interest.
I mean, in those proceeds, isn't it nice to think we could get back into a prison in 6 to 8 months with nearly the proceeds from the fire?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, and you have two properties that are essentially off the tax rolls, right? Celotex is, and this corrections facility is. We're able now to look forward to developing one and returning it to the tax rolls. And a near turnkey operation for us with absolute flexibility in the future. It's wonderful.
You have so much room to expand.
It's wonderful.
Right.
It's
and not even just
wonderful.
real estate to expand. We will take time to even start utilizing all those buildings. I mean,
Right.
there's more buildings than we need right now, but it came at the right price.
We have
And,
leases
yeah.
that maybe we don't need to lease buildings now that we would own these. There's 13 buildings there.
So, in speaking to the folks who have made the comments about everybody working together, someone mentioned this quote to me the other day. I guess it was on a plaque or something, and they said it was in Ronald Reagan's office. And he had it there whenever he met with people in the Oval Office. It said, "There's no limit to the things you can accomplish," and I'm paraphrasing, when no one cares who gets the credit. And so often that sort of thing gets in the way, and I think that when you all get comfortable with the fact that everybody's got something to add to this, and everybody can have a win here, and thus the county can have a win,
And
get past that, we can accomplish
and
it.
work autonomously without, you just take your professional set and you go and do a certain set of duties related to the project and not having to worry about that, which is really nice. You get more work done.
And it's not, we.
Yeah, and
Is there any other questions or comments? Okay. I think we have a motion and a second on the first of the motions.
You're on item G.
Is there, and we've had our comment, all in favor, state aye.
aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Motion to adopt Resolution R37-16, agreement of sale between the County of Northumberland and NHS Youth Services Incorporated for the purchase of certain real estate known as Northumberland County Tax Parcel 00A-00-007-013B, located in the Township of Cole.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. On the question, I think we've already, for the most part, discussed it. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we had the motion second.
And again, the purchase price is 6.5.
And one of the other things to point out, we talked about all the personality that came, and that was like I think 0.3 or 0.4 of the purchase price.
How much of a bargain is that,
In
Todd?
reality,
Usually well over $1 million worth of contents in those buildings.
yeah, that are all usable by us for things like,
That we don't have to
classroom
buy
space, there's television, there's all kinds of stuff. I guess I shouldn't talk about too much publicly because we're going to obscure it. So, that's right. So, all right, so there has been a motion and a second. All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to adopt Resolution R38-16, Commissioner's Budget Amendment as listed.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second? Okay. On the question, all in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to adopt Resolution R39-16, Agreements, Amendments, Revisions, Grants, Releases, and Reports between the Northumberland County Commissioners on behalf of the Human, Senior, and Social Services and the named service providers as listed, numbers 1 through 9. The above agreements, amendments, revisions, grants, leases, and reports are not with county employees, nor does their organizational contract list county employees as their principal or in their corporation or on their board of directors, excluding number 5, which will be tabled.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, on the question? All in favor, state aye. Aye.
Is
Any
there a
opposed, same
motion
sign?
to table
I'm
number
sorry.
5?
Oh, okay, yeah, let's do that first. Is there a motion to table number 5?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, on the question, all in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And then, is there a motion to adopt the remaining items?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion.
Second.
Second. On the question, all in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, under old business, is there any old business?
I just have one more comment, just so I feel like, sometimes I watch these videos, I feel like, oh, I should have said that.
Yeah, I have it.
For everyone out there that had advice, you'd read it and, why haven't they looked here? Why haven't they thought about that? Why didn't they take the time to do it right? I want you to know that I congratulate this board that we bought back the acceleration fees that the prior board had purchased, which gave us the time. We actually made money on taking the time to look at this prison project, and we all felt very serious weight of the responsibility. We looked at building on to the courthouse and what the cost would be. We looked at, right, Todd's shaking his head. We looked at building at the old site. We looked at various other locations. We looked at them very, very seriously. In fact, this is it's Site C, we call it. It isn't the first site, but it definitely was the last. And I just want you to know that we took it so seriously, and it was exhausting, and we looked at every aspect that we could think of, and I'm very proud of it, and I know that the commissioners are as well.
Let me add something, and I think Rick can explain this, but as you're sitting there, if I'm a citizen, I'm thinking, well, why didn't we know about this? And I think that's something that maybe Rick can explain, that when this process started, legally, we were bound not to discuss this with anyone. And Rick, you want to...
In order to start entering into negotiations and discussions with the folks at Northwestern, we had to sign confidentiality agreements. There was a lot of sensitivity on their end, both from the standpoint they have employees who are out there who are still working, and we didn't know where this was going, and they don't want them finding out about these things in the newspaper. They wanted to be able to roll that out in a way where they can explain to them what's happening and what will be happening. Also, they as an organization have bondholders and other stakeholders in that organization that they did not want information going out to before we knew where we stood on this and whether or not this was a reality or not. And again, the timing of that, I mean, we coordinated the timing of today's press conference with them and the fact that it would happen at today's meeting so that they can then communicate to the people they have. So while we've been very reticent with the press over the last several weeks about this, actually I was surprised that things were kept under wraps for as long as they were, but in the last few weeks, we were starting to get some direct questions from people, and obviously there was information, or at least speculation, that was going out regarding it, but that was why we were not at liberty to get into more detail about it.
I think it's also important to note that this decision didn't cause Northwestern to go out of business. Like, we're not... Us doing this doesn't mean that we put those people out of work. They were winding down because warehousing juveniles has become untasteful. And it's a move across the country. There was a news item and a daily item, I think it was a daily item article, talking about a closure in Danville, a juvenile facility. This is something that moving into the future, juvenile facilities are going to be closing all over the country. I just want people not to think, oh, this board put those folks out of work. They have basically shut down building after building over the last several months, and they're down to one, not even the full building anymore. This was something that was going to happen. While it's related that we purchased it, we're not the cause of it. So I think that's important to know.
And a lot of their people up there who are counselors and basically like a guards will have the opportunity when we do expand to apply for positions with the county. So they might be better off in the long run for a long-term contract, if they're able to be hired somewhere down the line.
Okay, moving on to new business, just a couple of items I wanted to address, and then if the other commissioners have any. One, at our meeting earlier today, we talked about we need a motion to terminate the contract with Penn Stress, which was the company that we had a contract for the precast cells that would have gone at the Moran prison site, which we don't need anymore. Is there a motion to send a termination letter on that
I'll
contract?
make the motion.
Okay, motion made.
Second.
Made and seconded on the question.
Todd, is that what we need to do, right? Yep. Okay.
Okay. All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Also, just two announcements. I wanted to announce that we have hired Russ Fellman, who has been with the county for several years in our 911 department as our new 911 coordinator. We went through a series of extensive interviews, interviewing people both from, and tests, yes, we even had tests that were given to folks. We interviewed people both from within the department and outside of the department. I know there's some other people here who were part of that process. Ultimately, at the end of the day, after having discussions among the commissioners, we felt that Russ was going to be the best fit for the job. And Russ really, in this interim period, when we have not had a coordinator, and really even prior to that, had stepped into a leadership role in that department, moving this 911 project forward and trying to handle some of the other issues that they had in that department. That is a department that, in fact, Mary Rose and I just had meetings with two of their shifts yesterday to let them know about the change, but also to assure them that this board recognizes that department has been neglected for quite some time. As I think we mentioned at one of the prior meetings, there were mandated trainings and things that have been allowed to lapse. We need to address those things, and we are committed to doing that. And again, we want to congratulate Russ, and we look forward to working with you to really refocus on that department and build it back up.
And yeah, it's Russ, and I think he's the leader that can do that, and I hope, and wish him the best. I also want to remind us, our people, that one of our secretaries took the test for the 911, Shelley, right here.
That's right.
And even though she passed, she has said that she will still say as secretary, she's not going to move to the 911 office.
And I also want to say, to reiterate, we had a lot of very talented candidates, all of whom had some skills that we really appreciated. And it wasn't a matter of weeding out bad candidates. It was a matter of really trying to select the one that we thought was going to be the best fit for us. We had a lot of very good candidates who brought a lot to the table. It was not an easy process. So, the other announcement I wanted to make, and this was actually handled at our last meeting, which was a special meeting, but I know some of the press was not there for that, is to just announce that in the last week and a half, we hired Don Alexander as our new director of what will now be known as Planning and Economic Development. It was our planning department. Again, as I think everybody on this board has stressed in the past, we want to make a real commitment to economic development in this county. We think that Don brings a very unique and qualified skill set to the table, one that I think we haven't had in a while in Northumberland County, and I think that we look forward to working with him to build that department, build the name recognition and branding of Northumberland County to potential employers outside of the county, and also strengthening the relationships that we have with our existing employers in the county. And also, we do have a brief press release that I think will be coming out later today with some of Don's background on it that we'll send out to all of the media.
Rick, one more thing. For the newspapers, Justin, and I don't know if Mark did it, the gypsy moth thing, I get calls every day. You did a great job on that, but if you get any calls in the newspapers, any of the people here, please have the people go to our website. Mary Rose is in charge of that. We have lists of people that will do spraying, because I know in the next 4 to 6 weeks, I'm going to change my phone number because I don't want any more calls on that. We opted in for next year. Everybody's on their own this year. Mary Rose will continue to add
people to our website who are interested in spraying. If you know of anyone, get them to call Mary Rose, she can add them. But please tell them, I was in Walmart for a half hour and talking to someone all about gypsy moths. Please have them look on the website.
Get used to it.
And
You're
Mr.
only
Griffith,
a few months into this.
I got your number on Facebook.
After it's not gypsy moths, it will be something else. Does anybody else have anything for new business? Okay. If
No,
not,
and I will put the map over here so that everybody can see the Northwestern site.
How long do you think it'll be till we actually start to see development at the Celotex property of any sort?
Well,
Because it is a real dust bowl.
yeah, we are going to continue with the demolition and some of the site work that was done, because we're going to benefit from that regardless of the fact that we're not going to have the prison there, and it won't be left in the state that you see it in now. We put things on hold here for a bit until we knew what direction we were going, but we want to make that an attractive site to bring someone in to develop it, so.
When I sit and look at that piece of property, it puts me in mind of the highway they were going to build 50 years ago that we still don't have. You know, and if that sits that way 50 years, we'll all be dead. We'll not worry about it.
Maybe this will add a little comfort. We have been contacted by people.
Yeah.
We even I let people in last week twice to take measurements for what it would cost to develop that land. So we have people interested, and now that we can put this to bed almost, the prison project, then we can turn our attention to developing that. I don't think we're going to have a problem if we work this hard again.
And we've already had conversations with Don Alexander. I mean, part of what his
This is
job will
what
be,
he
and
does.
this is going to be priority up at the top of his priority list, is that site down there and getting that marketed.
We will.
Any other questions from the audience, I guess? All right, we're adjourned.
Thank you.